Wow! Oh! Ah! Ow! Oh! Ow! Oh! Ow!
Endless. It's like an endless ongoing thing with YouTube. There's always a bug, there's always an issue, right? I have good news for everyone today before we start with today's streams. I just want to get this out of the way right up front.
I am partnered with Curse again.
After being partnered with them for 2 months and then looking like I was going to go with another partner network who promised me the world and did not live up to their promises, basically lied, okay? And by the way, I will eventually give the full story on that. It's just that right now I'm so busy with everything else. I just don't have the time to do it. But the bottom line is I went for about a week there with my own personal AdSense account on my YouTube channels, alright? And it didn't work out. The ad revenue was terrible compared to what I was making when I was with Curse. It was just ridiculous how low it was.
Oh my god, excuse me.
I'm gonna say this right now. There's a lot of bullshit, complete and utter bullshit out there regarding what's happened with me in the past week with networks and stuff, and it's all nonsense. And like I said, I will eventually clear it up. In fact, I've decided that I will talk about this subject in full during the return of Hate Live. The Hate Live podcast will happen this month. And the big subject of the podcast will be what happened with my attempt to basically seek out a better deal for myself on YouTube. The full story, all details exposed. Right now I've only given you abridged versions. And it's funny because I keep saying things like, I was never partnered with such and such a network. And then everyone goes,
no, but you were. Here's the evidence. Here's this. Here's that.
And I said, well, I can explain the situation, but I don't have time now. I'll do it when I have time, when Hate Live happens, alright? Because the bottom line is, everything I've said is true. Everything I've said is true.
Because the bottom line is, everything I've said is true. Everything I've said is true.
But, without a full explanation, there's really no way to take the time to actually give you all the information, alright? All this fluctuation going on this past week, ad revenue when I was with my personal AdSense account was terrible, and I said, that's it, and I went back to Curse and I said, listen, exactly as we had talked about a week ago, when we severed our partnership, things didn't work out with, you know, a new partnership that I wanted to do, and then things didn't work out with just doing AdSense on my own. I'd like to come back, let's get all this going on, alright? And so, that's what happened, and I've been working with Curse over the past 24 hours. Now, last night, if you were here live on the stream, I made you aware of yet another YouTube bug that looked like it was going to screw me over, alright? So what was this YouTube bug? The bug was that YouTube had an error. It's basically a loop. Last week when I left Curse and tried to enable my personal AdSense on DsPgaming, I had to do what's called a bulk monetization, where I had to select all 43,000 of my videos and tell YouTube to put ads on them. Well, the good news is it worked. The bad news is the process never finished. The process locked up. And so infinitely on my video manager page, it's showing, oh, you know, edit in process, edit in process. Now, that's not a big deal, because all the videos had ads, right? So no problem. But then, when I repartnered with Curse yesterday, I couldn't put ads on any of my videos, because I couldn't do another bulk process, because the last one never completed. It was just endlessly running.
The good news is...
The very good news is that Curse had the ability behind the scenes to do this for me. So overnight, Curse enabled ads on all 43,000 of my videos on DsPgaming. And they did it with the right ad settings and everything. So as of today, folks, I'm back up and running. All of my videos on DsPgaming have advertisements on them. They're good to go. And obviously, nothing ever happened negative with the streaming, right? So everything is good. At least as of this morning, it seems like everything is back to normal. Everything is good. You know, it's going to be the same as usual. I stream, you know, 1 to 2 times a day. And that video footage is all recorded for YouTube, uploaded to YouTube afterward. And, you know, no problems. I think moving forward, this might be it. This was the last hurdle, right? I partnered with Curse, and I tried other opportunities. I saw the opportunities aren't working out.
So you go with what's best for you, right? Yesterday in particular, holy shit. Yesterday was a great streaming day, alright?
People came out, and on the first stream, I had a really large tip from someone that really helped out. And then on the second stream, when we were doing Persona 5... we had a cheer war, right? A bit cheer war broke out between, like, 4 different people who were all going back and forth between each other, and holy crap, man, you know.
That helped a ton.
I just want you guys to understand, not only does that add to the fun of the stream, but it's helping me out a ridiculous amount, okay?
You know, like I said, things are more positive now. It looks like I'm back up and running on YouTube.
I'm back up and running with everything, and therefore, I don't really want to focus on the negativity. I want to focus on being positive and moving forward, okay? So, yes, I was frustrated this past week, and I appreciate those of you who were patient with that. I know you don't like to hear me constantly complaining and constantly bringing shit up like this. That's why I'm glad. I think from now on, we can move forward positively.
Oh,